welcome to Standout Coffee.
Thank
First
you.
time
Cheers.
here.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah. Shamefully, we've not been here before. It's a bit out of the way, but yeah.
It's
So
5
glad
minutes
you-
from the town
Yeah.
centre, but
5 minutes is too long.
Yeah.
So I know you guys a little bit more, but please introduce yourselves, and then we can go into your background, maybe what you're doing now and what the future will bring, and then just have a nice conversation.
Yeah.
So do you wanna-
Yeah, I'm Fran. This is Martin. We're the brothers. We have Slow Hands Café in Hägerstensåsen. We're from Liverpool originally, and we've been in Stockholm for like 7 years, maybe 8 years
8
now
years.
actually.
yeah.
But yeah, so we were just working random jobs when we got here. We came here quite spontaneously, and then we were lucky enough, thanks to Martin hustling a little bit, we were lucky enough to get a space in Hägerstensåsen and start our first cafe, and that was 3 years ago.
3 years ago?
Yeah, July I think in 3 years ago.
But were you in coffee prior to that, or like the first couple of
I'd
years?
done-
Martin was, yeah.
Yeah.
For
I'd
10
been
years ago.
doing a lot in just cafe jobs in Manchester and a bit in Liverpool. Not so much specialty though, but I was doing like in university cafes, or just I was working for like a hospitality agency who would just send me to different cafes,
Yeah.
which these are always a good thing in the end when you look
That's
back.
cool.
You learned like the kind
pace.
of the real grind of like big queues and that kind of thing.
So you kind of came in from the outside and helped out with how to manage people, or like be polite, or
Yeah, that like a lot of the best kind of coffee people, baristas or whatever now, they all started in like Espresso House or some of these companies, and that's
You
when
were
you
in,
get
like, Costa.
because if you can do a busy day at one of those places,
Yeah.
the rest is just fun really.
Yeah.
When you get your own thing going, but and then that's always been my kind of side job as a kind of failing musician to it's the path of least resistance anywhere I go, was to work in a cafe.
Yeah.
But
so
I
that-
think you had always, even from the start, like a high standard, and you wanted to better yourself and you wanted to learn more.
Yeah, in the
I
end,
think he's
in the end
down,
it
like-
went in that direction. And then when we came 8 years ago to stay with a friend who'd moved here,
Oh.
and then it was like, let's try and stay here. Like we brought hand luggage. We didn't really plan to stay. There was no, but we were
Kind
just
of a
like, let's
vacation,
just try
really.
and Brexit vote had just happened, and we were like, this is a good opportunity now that won't be possible in the future, to just go to a different country and without even a job contract or anything. And so then obviously that was the cafes, and coffee was just the easiest route into like a quick job.
Yeah.
And that was like
But you were Martin was lucky with his first job. He started at this place in Odenplan called like Orion. Do you remember
Yeah.
that place?
The omelette.
And he was
place.
with like
Yeah.
Joel
with Joel.
and
He's at
Jes-
Joel and Nyström,
Je-
right?
yeah, and
the other guy,
Jesper.
Jesper.
And Jesper.
It was
Yeah.
good.
Um,
I managed. Joel was
Oh,
the guy
you were
who
there.
managed to like kind of give me a kind of handwritten contract, which wasn't real, but that was the
Maybe
thing
I'll say that.
that got me into the personal number and everything, because that's this thing you can't get. You need a job contract
yeah.
to get it, and you need a personal number to get the job contract. So you always need a favor from someone, and I didn't even know him, but he really like helped me there by giving me
cool.
that contract,
First step,
and then
yeah.
I was in the system.
How
then.
long were you at Orion?
Probably like just 4 or 5 months. And that was good. Those two that I was working with were really like, we were serving
You had
what's
a
the roastery?
Marzocco, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the coffee was from Damateo.
Yeah.
And that was in like the glory days when they had like amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still good, but yeah.
So that was your first kind of specialty coffee real eye opener.
Yeah. And
I
then
feel like in Manchester you maybe worked short stints in various places, and we were spending a lot of time in these places like there's like a lot of great cafes in Manchester and Liverpool. Martin was living in Manchester, but so we were exposed to it and we were interested. And actually, the plan, I think, originally before we spontaneously moved to Stockholm was to have a cafe in England. We got a little roaster at one point. Like, what was that little roaster? We kind of had one in the garage, like this tiny little roaster, like a mini little thing.
It was like 300 gram washing machine, electric roaster that would just kind of. But that was like, you know, when we're very impatient. You're like, I want to know what it's like to roast coffee, and you just buy the cheapest roaster, and it's like, I've got green beans, I'm roasting them now. This is amazing. You know, like
you're learning so much from that.
Yeah.
Just the process and get in touch with like the tactile experience of flavors and how it goes from green to brown. And
like
when
smelling
it starts to burn. And
and that was where our coffee roasting career peaked and ended right then and there.
we had one customer, this cafe
I have no idea what this
in the outskirts of Manchester. Their name was Deja Brew, and that was I think we were supplying coffee to them for about 2 weeks or something.
Perfect.
So that was our roasting experience. But no, so we were definitely interested and exposed to like great coffee and some great places. But personally, I was always just working in like chef jobs and playing music and my first coffee job was Slow Hands when Martin dragged me into it.
Nice. So quick break, Veronica. Are we supposed to guess or?
Thanks for the coffee, man.
Yeah, cheers.
One is
Yes.
and the other one is Jameson Savage Iridescent.
Oh, nice. So this must be the iridescence then, I think. Cool. Let that cool down for a bit. Is it roasted yesterday?
No. Iridescent was roasted on the 15th.
Perfect. Thanks. Yeah. So we're shipping the iridescence from Jameson Savage as a subscription from tomorrow. And Edison Argot, I think we are actually sold out of. But it's a very highly processed. I would guess thermal shock-ish coffee.
This one is really
a lot of flavors, so it'll be a nice contrast. I need to ask you about the music. What's happening?
Yeah, well, I mean, me and Martin have always played music together, and
since childhood, like since we were like, all our life really. Yeah. In different forms.
I guess like since we had the Slow Hands, like things have like been on the back burner a little bit, but we now kind of use the cafe as a studio, and we're recording something. We're chipping away on some kind of music, some kind of record. But that's always really been our main interest.
Cool. Is it what sort of music? Is it?
Well, previously we've been playing in like guitar bands, a bit, I guess, like noisy guitar bands, and then right now we're it's very melodic and like kind of a
vocal, like choral, almost choral.
Yeah, like vocal harmony and like kind of acoustic, gentle music.
Cool.
Yeah,
because going into Slow Hands Your Cafe 3 years ago and going into the cafe today has slightly shifted, right?
Yeah, I would say
music has always been around.
Yeah.
And that was really because there was no big kind of we managed to get this place and like get a coffee machine and just open the door, and at that point it was like white walls, soulless place, and I actually thought that might be enough because we were so close to the train station. People you could see hundreds of people going by. It was like, this is going to be easy.
Just open the doors. Swedish people like coffee, like we're right near the station.
And I've seen that in Manchester and places before where there would be some pallets with a espresso machine on and just a queue out the door, and because the coffee is good and the barista's good, people appreciate it. But it's not quite the same culture yet here, especially in the suburbs.
Yeah.
But so then we've developed it just as we've been able to afford to develop it. And because we're just there all the time, and we want it to enjoy being there, it's kind of naturally become an expression of ourselves.
Yeah.
So like I want to be surrounded by music and records and that kind of thing.
But is every tune played on vinyl, or is it?
Almost. We try. We occasionally get on Spotify,
yeah.
but yeah, I think it makes it. I also think, you know, if you go to somewhere for a coffee, because there was a place in Liverpool, Bold Street Coffee, and you go there and behind the you'd see the espresso machine, and then there'd be a record player spinning, and it was such a great part of the atmosphere. It was
I used
like
to see
meditative,
the baristas,
and
like...
it kind of made your experience more like, you kind of slowed the pace down of everything.
But when you'd see the staff, I think, like flipping the records, and it felt like a night I wanted to work there, you know, I want to be part of it, because they're just making coffee, flipping some records, and it felt like, oh, that's a nice environment. So that definitely stuck in our heads.
Yeah.
And we were like, that was the first thing, we were like, we need, that needs to happen.
Yeah. So like when people order, they see a record spinning. I just think it's quite nice.
Yeah. Super cool. Maybe I should bring back, I never was a good break dancer, but my friends were.
Okay.
So I got into...
we got a bit of space here if you want to...
Yeah, but I actually, I have a bunch of vinyl break
Oh, wow, nice.
LPs. So I did just play around at home.
Yeah.
But back in the day I was working at Clarion, first at Södermalm.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of tip. So it usually just went straight to the vinyl shops and picked up all break beats I can find.
Did you go to Snickers up in Slussen?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
So I have like, I don't know, but at least like 150 or something.
Ah. But you don't have a player out in the living room, or?
No, I have one in the basement, like stuffed away.
Yeah.
But they are a little bit too, what do you say, shallow. Like.
Oh yeah.
The
All right, so
of
it
them.
sticks out a bit.
It sticks out a little bit too much, and like now with Sonos speakers and 2 kids at home, it's hard to. But I actually brought them up for my son to just play around with.
Break.
Yeah. So he was
literally
like,
our break.
Yeah. But he actually he found Eminem and Dr. Dre that way, so now he's like hooked.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, let me know if you want to sell any.
Because we're gonna do like that kind of night soon, I think, with like like kind of breaks, hip hop and scratching and that. Because we're talking about that.
Scratching, but it would be cool to
really difficult.
Okay. Off
That's
nice.
a plan for the future.
Yeah.
Maybe if we get a bigger space someday, maybe I'll bring them here.
Yeah.
Because I really get the thing, like having a roaster and 2 Technics.
Yeah.
An espresso machine and someone flipping vinyls. It's
something about it, like mechanical.
Yes.
It's like contemplative. Like you really have to appreciate the thing.
Yeah.
Like if you're on it, Spotify's good, whatever, but you're just flicking through and it's so disposable.
Yeah.
With a
You might not
record, you
listen
have
to
to
track
focus on
3
it.
or
Yeah.
track 4, cause if you're but you have to with that.
That's cool. So let's do it. Let's do a break beat evening.
Yeah. We could do like a standout break even. Yeah.
And you can do a little head spin as well.
No, that was the problem.
Can you do it at all?
No. I
Okay.
never. But my friend was really good. He was good.
You'd just be kind of like on the sidelines, like
being the wingman of
yeah.
So 3 years ago, open up, music always there, but I would say a lot of things shifts during these kind of years, and now like Veronica and everyone is like, oh, Slow Hands, they have like the best wine bar in Stockholm. Tell us about, is it a natural shift
This was
natural wines or wines?
I think like at the beginning we met with a few people, friends who've had places similar, and they were saying you got to get the license, alcohol license before you start.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's going to take forever. And we were just impatient and had too much going on, so we didn't do it from the beginning. But it was always
kind of intended to have it from the start.
And so then the year was just so crazy with trying to develop a new business that it took about a year to get that. And then we can make a blend. Yeah, so, and then finally with my partner Sarah Maria, she's like very much part of the business as well.
Yeah.
But just in the background, she managed to get the long process done, and she's Swedish, which helps because it's a lot of studying the alcohol laws and this kind of stuff. And then eventually we did that, and it's the same feeling as the coffee, just good importers and producers.
More producers and because we focus on like natural wine, and like we have small breweries, brewery in Lidingö, this nice. Irish guy Ivan, he makes the beer, and we really try to get to know all the producers kind of in the same way with the coffee. So
then
they go hand in hand.
Like
really.
when you get an invoice, it's like you're supporting your friend. Everything feels very nice when you're friends with all the suppliers. But the wine thing. That's it.
So then, because we were open a bit in the evening, it became quite a lot for us because we were originally open in the mornings. Yeah. So we just kind of shifted a bit later and later every day. And now I guess at first the coffee was our thing. And I guess even though we really still proud of our coffee experience and everything, it's just
something else as well.
The wine is all, and evening has kind of taken over, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think if we would love to be there at 7 a.m, that because we want to be doing that, but it wasn't so much it just wasn't that many people wanting that in the morning. If the people were there, we would be open right now. But you just take the path of least resistance in a way. It was like it's just better in the evening and afternoon. The weekend's still very busy from the morning.
Oh, so you are like a cafe in the weekends?
Yeah.
Opening at
we open at 11 on the weekends. So like
lunch or, I don't know.
Yeah, so it's like a kind of standard cafe. Yeah. But then in the weekdays we open at 3:00, so it's kind of merged more into like a wine bar.
And what about the neighbors?
Yeah. There's been some complaints.
Yeah.
We've used to have speakers right up to the ceiling, and we were blasting music quite a lot. So we had a few complaints.
But we do close
they're
at
very
10,
nice.
so it's like
keys to buy the apartment above. And
yeah. No, but it's nice. It's like a collective living up above, and they're all kind of really nice, and we have a good relationship.
Because that's kind of the most important. With your neighbors, otherwise it's so tough to run a business.
Yeah. But they're really cooperative, and we have a good relationship. Yeah. But we do push the noise a little bit.
That's how it is.
But
that's cool. And what will the future bring? Will there be a Slow Hands too?
We're always thinking about that. One day you're fantasizing about running away, and then the next you're like, oh, what if we do this? You're always got ideas, but I would say there's no solid plans for that, but we're always fantasizing about.
I like these kind of places in Sweden, in the countryside. You have, what is it, Rosenhill or something, where people drive out on the weekend. Yes. And I kind of like the idea of having a space in an old barn or something, and having some kind of country cafe, bar, I don't know.
Music studio.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I think that's one of the big benefits, and also now you're 2, which is good. But of course you don't want to split up and work on 2 places. But that's the hard thing if you open a cafe. I think is gonna be are you the main stars, or is the concept and the cafe the main attractive thing? And that's always a balance, because when you are newly opened, and people expect, I think, to meet you guys when they come. I had that problem back in the days when I was running Drop Coffee. It almost became a small problem, people, because I was there alone almost from the beginning with Eric, and then when we grew, people came in, oh, is Oscar here now? And then they just...
Yeah, it is a bit like that. and like we have, like, Martin's got a young child, and we have to like we have to have our own time. So we have staff and everything, and they're great, but yeah, we have found that customers like to see us in the room, or like we have a good relationship with the customers, and so I think now we went through a bit of almost like a burnout 2 years in, where we were just working so much that we just put staff in, and we were like, we can't be here. And now we've got like kind of second wind, a bit more energy, so we're trying to be there. At least one of us, we usually will be there, and we're trying to be there as much as possible now.
Cool.
We're enjoying it again now. You kind of have to push through the wall, and then
you open every day?
Except Monday.
Mondays is closed. I think that's if you can afford it, but in the long run, like you're talking about like a burnout, like you can't afford that. So to have like one day.
You need
These are things that people.
What was it like? I think Pierre maybe advised that. He was great setting us up as well. Pierre from like Espresso.
Yeah, he's coming after lunch.
Oh, nice. Yeah. But he was so good with the advice, and he said like it could be really good to just take one day to have close the doors, fix everything, and take a rest. And it really was. I mean, it's still.
We learned the hard way though. We were like, we can do it. We can stay open on Mondays, and then 1 year in, we're like, now I can't work any days. So we should have done. But
So you take a day. I mean, we're there on Monday all day anyway, fixing everything. But I definitely advise that if you have a place.
It needs to work in the long run, and like. If it doesn't work with 1 day off, or one of you needs, or both of you needs to be off 1 day, then maybe the business model needs to be changed.
Cool. We were talking about in England, like the birth of like specialty coffee, and like you had like people. We were talking about like Stephen Layton was kind of in a market in, I think, Manchester, and like maybe the 90s, just one of the first on the scene. And we were wondering, like in Stockholm, was there one place that was just like the first on the scene, a place that inspired you, or like something? Maybe it was you.
Yeah, maybe it was me. Like
where would you go before you start, like before drop?
Before drop, that was 2007 and 8. We did. Alexander was on the forums, and was one of the, like, I didn't know it, but he was one of the like main coffee guys in Sweden. There was a forum called Riktigt Kaffe that was around back then. I still think it's around, with like Henrik Sandén and a few other really like cool people. I got dragged into it since I was working at Clarion. I was doing some wine and stuff, and I met up with Alexander. Because we had like a co-working space where Drop Coffee is now, and he was the first one to like hire a desk from me.
Okay.
And he had a La Marzocco at home.
Wow.
And he brought me to a bookstore called Konstig at right next by to Sneakers and Stuff, Skånegatan.
Yeah.
And Per Lindberg and Alexander Kodin, 2 guys. And Alexander Kodin is doing music now. Electronic music. He was like the first like who really like brought specialty coffee into the light in Stockholm, I would say. Or what I found. Johan Nyström hadn't opened their concept store yet. Damateo was around, but since we didn't living in Gothenburg. And I don't really know. For me, it was just an eye-opener when I went to the bookstore and got a Colombian espresso. And they charged like 35, 40 kroners. Back then, the espresso was 10 kroners.
Yeah.
And it was from Huila. It was like a Colombian, and was roasted by David Haugard, I think. So he was really pioneering. And I realized we could do something about this. It was all like espresso, maybe some Italian espresso organic. That was kind of the thing. Viva was around. Johan Nyström, I think, was around as a roastery. Okay. They were. But they were pushing like a lot of their, also like what people wanted. And Copy was around, I think. But for me in Stockholm, I think we were one of the cornerstones.
Yeah, interesting that Stockholm was kind of after other parts of Sweden.
Yeah.
Strange, but
Maybe if they're
Okay.
like down in Copy might have been like more
more
inspired
connected
down
to Europe or something.
Copenhagen.
Probably Copenhagen was
Yeah.
before us. I don't know when Coffee Collective and those guys kind of started.
Yeah.
But then it really happened quickly for us. We opened in August. I think Johan and Nyström opened like a few weeks later. I remembering there was where they are now, the concept store. There was brown paper on the windows, and rumors said that Lavazza was going to open like a cool flagship thing.
Okay, this was
And-
just when you were you opened. Okay.
Like we had been open for
Wow.
a few weeks, and then like I think it was like 8 or 10 weeks into running like the first room of Drop Coffee. There was a red, I remember, 3 group Lamar Socco PB or no KB. Also. The red one, the round thing.
Oh yeah.
Just carrying across the street, and it went into the store. And then I think like the paper went down, and we saw that Johan Nyström was about to open. So Johan Nyström opened, Drop Coffee opened. We had Mellqvist, Historiet, called Cafe Bar.
Yeah.
They opened or like really got their stuff going. So for me, Södermalm became like Mariatorp became the coffee mecca.
Yeah, that small part of.
Yeah. And I think really, I would say really where the Swedish coffee scene really took off was around those times.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I wonder when would have Orion have started? Maybe a few years later or
Probably so.
similar time.
My first thing was to name it Drip Coffee.
Yeah.
Due to the rumors of people making like drips in Japan.
Okay.
You got the videos when you do like V60s of really dark roasted coffee.
Oh yeah.
You can
Yeah.
bloom it
It looks
high,
nice. Yeah.
and you can just pump the bloom like a lot of times.
Yeah.
It's nice to look at that on Instagram, but
Yes.
you know it's not going to taste good, but it
No.
looks good.
So, but I found that the I in drip and coffee didn't really match up, so it became Drop Coffee. And
Yeah.
the plan was never to have like the drop.
Yeah.
It was just a name.
Yeah.
Now I think they brought in the drop, which just makes sense.
We started a company in England called Blood Brothers Coffee, and we had a little drip on the logo. Yeah.
Killed someone tattooed.
Yeah. That was going to be our thing, Blood Brothers
Still a few
Roastery.
T-shirts out there. Actually.
Yeah, we made
Oh
some
my
T-shirts.
God.
Yeah, we'll send some
So
over.
that's maybe your espresso bar.
Yeah.
Straight up dropping up.
Yeah, because in England there's this like musical called Blood Brothers about these 2 twins who kill each other. So we thought that'd be quite a nice name.
Don't do that. Cool. So for the last couple of episodes, I always realize after that I need to have like something connecting the episodes. So I'm gonna start you guys off with asking, what's your preferred brew method? You wanna go?
Let Martin.
Can be anything.
Well,
I'm an espresso
I
guy.
guess because when we arrive to prep every day, we'll share like a pour over on like Kalita, and then we'll want an espresso as well.
Yeah.
So it's a tough one, isn't it?
Single or double espresso?
Martin's always going for a single, and
I like to have
a
a single.
double.
It sounds if I have a single, it means I can have more of them then. So if I have a single, then I know that in an hour I can have another single, which is more fun.
Double is too much.
Yeah.
I have a problem with doubles.
Mm.
I'd rather drink 2 singles.
Yeah.
What about you?
Maybe your
I
tolerance
like to
is
indulge.
higher.
No, it's not really. My tolerance is not so high. I have like 3 coffees and then I'm done. But I just like in the morning. It's just exciting for me to get hit by a double.
Yeah.
And still, the novelty of having an espresso machine to ourselves is still a novelty 3 years later. So I'm like, even if I've had a filter, it's fun just to like use the coffee machine and be like, wow, I can make myself an espresso.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
If you're dialing in every morning, you're gonna,
I'm so
a few
into the
espresso.
visual aspect of espresso.
Mm.
I don't know if it affects like how I want Alex and Veronica to roast the coffee, but I really like, I've been judging a lot now.
Oh, yeah.
And since crema is kind of just a yes or no, you can like, you don't have to do crema on espresso anymore. It hurts me, like deeply. I want to see like the shiny, perfect visual aspect of espresso. And for me, I think it's convinced me that this will taste better.
Yeah, and it is a shame that the customers can't see that, really.
No.
It would be kind of nice if they could see the espresso, like, coming. It would be...
Yeah, like from the roof. Like, coming down.
A mirror, like, behind or something. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, we
Great
feel like
pleasure.
we're intruding, like we're not... I don't know. It feels like a real honor to be here, and
So where do people find you? Once more.
In,
Where's the
like
cafe?
physically,
Do you
we're
have an
in
Instagram? What's
on social media. It's Instagram really. Slow Hands Café. We're in Hägerstensåsen, just right next to the train station.
Which people in people's minds, they think it's like out of town.
Yeah.
From Södermalm, it's 5 minutes,
Yes.
you know. So and it's literally at the train station. I bet you have the same thing that people think here is, but it's actually 5 minutes from town.
Cool.
Yeah.
Open Tuesday to
So
Sunday?
Tuesday to Sunday, from 3 p.m. in the weekdays, and then from 11 on the weekends.
Cool. And let's do a breakbeat evening.
100%.
I'll hold you to that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks
Nice.
a lot.
Cheers. Thanks for having us.